Hello students, today we are going to see one new topic of cyber security, module 4. So let us start with new topic. The name of the topic is IO device management, input output device management. IO device management, input output device management. Human readable, things which are readable by the human, in the sense from computer what is readable. In the case the user can directly interact with the computer system and understand their functioning. For example, printer, human can read the printout which is taken by the user. He can listen to video songs, video games, that is video display. Keyboard, on the keyboard whatever you are typing, letters, alphabets, you can see. Mouse, you can click on the mouse, you can see the mouse. Scanner means the images which are scanned, okay, that's also you are visible on the computer due to scanner. These are all devices which are human readable. Next, machine readable, the basic functioning is understandable by machine, or data values are understandable by machine, means the data which is not understood by human, the data which is understood by machine, because computer store the data in the binary format, so binary data is available and it is understandable by the machine. Also like USB means when you insert USB in the system CPU, then it can understand that it can get indication that USB has been inserted, so data in the USB is visible. Like sensors control, in the sense when you shut down the computer or when you start the computer, there is some beep sound, that is called sensor controllers. And the disk drives in the sense whatever data you store on the disk, that are called disk drive. Whatever data, audio, video, files, softwares, OS, these are stored on disk, that is disk readable. Okay, so next, communication in the sense suitable for communication. Here communication means those devices which are used for transferring data from one system to another system. For example, modems. You might be remembering, you might be wondering why modems are used. Remember one thing, data coming from you is in the form of analog signal, and it is need to be converted into digital signal. So because the computer cables which are used for transferring data can understand, can sense and can send only digital signal. So conversion of audio signals into digital signal, and reversely at the receiver end, conversion of digital signals into audio signal is done by the modem. So that's why modem was very useful in case of communication in the internet or WAN, whatever it means. So differences in IO devices. If I want to decide in which scenario which IO devices I should use, so we need these parameters. First parameter, data rate. Data rate is in the sense data is transferring, how much time it takes. Suppose I want to input device and how much time it takes data reach, that is data in and out. Suppose I type on the keyboard P, so at what time it reaches to monitor from the keyboard. Suppose I type Y, at what time, at what millisecond it reaches from keyboard to the monitor. So that is called data rate, means at what speed the data is transferring. Application, according to the software, we are activating the software, for what purpose we are using input output devices, according to that we develop software. Suppose I want to output on screen or printer, or I want to scan the output. Now my application is something like I want to print the regular attendance, so I need printer. Like another thing is that I want to take a lecture on the MS Team, so my application MS Team needs screen, means the student should visible my lectures on the screen, my PPT, my data. Okay, So that is called application. I mean, depending on the particular application, we need to decide what we want. Like a screen when you are taking lecture, printer when you are taking the printout and the reports and these things. And differences of IDOS, complexity of control. We know that operating system contain kernel where all operating system functions are stored. Kernel, remember that kernel is a program. Kernel is a program in which it is a hardware program. It acts due to which you can interact with the operating system, but you cannot directly interact with the kernel. You interact with the kernel with the help of system calls written in the language, like file creation, file deletion, file modify. These are the system calls with the help of which you can interact with the kernel. And kernel is a part of operating system, and all the code in the kernel is in the machine readable. It is written in binary language. Some part is written in binary language, some part is written in character language, but most of the part is written in machine readable form. One function will be input output management. Here we are managing IO devices. Device contain drivers, device driver, software programs which control the device. We should know its complexity. It depends on IO device. Remember one thing, drivers. What are drivers? Now when you click on the mouse, when you click on the mouse or mobile, when you click on the sound, your sound is visible. How is that possible? When you click on the sound app, the sound is visible. How is that possible? Remember one thing, like device driver, in the sense when you click on photo, you get a photo image on the mobile. The reason is that when you click on the photo, there is one device driver program, and it is a software program which connects with the hardware component, and that you are clicking on the photo on the mobile, and it signal goes to the camera to take the photo. So how is that possible? There in between operating system and that hardware part, there is one device driver program. With the help of device driver program, you can interact with the hardware, and that device driver program is created by user only, and with the help of which you click on the photo, you get a photo on the mobile. Similarly, when you click on sound app, you get a sound, and you listen the music, or you talk to your friend, you listen the sound. Okay, so these are the things, device driver, with the help of which you are interacting with the hardware, and you can interact with the hardware not directly, but with the help of device driver program. So that device driver program are very much important in the computer. So we should know its complexity. It is very difficult. Device driver programs are written by system programmer, and that are some hardware coded. It depends on IO device. Unit of transfer. Data goes in memory through input, then after read from memory due to output device, it come out of memory. So that it unit of transfer, data is coming in bytes, bits, bytes or block. So that is transfer unit. Unit of transfer means if the data is going 1 bit by 1, zeros and 1, and that is 1 bit. Bytes in the sense 7 bits mean 1 bytes. You might be knowing that capital A is stand for 65. The 65 bits means 1 byte, that is capital A, and blocks mean in the form of blocks. So that is the unit of transfer of data. And data representation. Input output devices are presenting data in which format? Either they are working on ASCII values or Unicode values. Okay, so that data is represented. Unicode values means in Japanese it will be Japanese, in Russian it will be Russian, in Indian it will be Indian, and ASCII means American Standard Coded Information Interchange. The representation in the form of 32 bit or 64 bit. Means 32 bit can be processed by computer at 1 second at one time, and 64 bit can be processed by computer at one time. This is basic representation of the data. Now system architecture. Designing a system from the ground is a complicated task and has many intricate and abstract goals that we have to achieve through mathematics, logics, design, programming code and implementation. There are fundamental design decisions that needs to be made when constructing a system. Security is only one of the goal of the system. Availability, integrity and confidentiality can be enforced at different places within the enterprise. Means within the enterprise. Remember one thing, we have a system in the college with a network LAN and students are doing the practical regularly. So what is our intention, that we should maintain integrity. Integrity in the sense, one student data cannot be modified by other student. One student data cannot be modified by other student, and another student data should not be modified by other student. So that is what integrity. Confidentiality in the sense, one student programs is not visible to others. It is visible to that student only who has written the program. So and also just like at the time of practicals, students should not allowed to access the internet. That is also important. So we can make that thing by designing the system. And student should not copy the program from one login to another login. That is our designing part of the system. Okay. And also student should be able to do the program with the latest software. That is also our intention, and all these things are done in the system architecture before designing the system. Just like our college, I given the example of college, it same happens with the in case of enterprise. Okay. So there are fundamental design decisions that needs to be made when constructing a system. Security is only one of the goals of the system. Security matters a lot because since at the time of exam, student should be able to do his or own program. He should not interfere with the other programs done by his friend, and there should be restriction to the user at the time of practicals, because the SY student should not able to run the application which are done by the FY student, and FY student should not able to do run the application which are done by SY and TY student, and TY student should able to run the programs which are applications which are for TY student, not for SY students. Means only TY student should run the application which are allocated to TY student, like Java, PHP. They should not run like data structure and these things. So these are the things. Availability, integrity, confidentiality can be enforced at different places within enterprise. So we need to maintain integrity, confidentiality and security, which matters a lot in system architecture. So that is all about the system architecture. Next part is trusted computing base. What is trusted computing? Trusted computing in the sense, every time you sit on computer, you have to trust that is going to do what you are going to do. Expect where it that you type your email and you trust on it, and only going to person you put an address. Suppose you are sitting on the computer system and you are opening the internet, and you are opening your Gmail account, and you are sending a mail to your friend. So you trust on that computer will open Gmail for you by entering username and password. Then you trust on computer that whatever mail I type, it will go to the receiver without any interruption. And when you receive bank statement, you trust on that screen, it really what you know, you have what transaction you have done in bank. You have to rely on computer and in network and servers. One thing we know that goes wrong is that means everything is working fine. I am sending me to mail to my friends, to my colleagues and to my boss in the company, and I am getting the mini statement of my I'm getting the statement of my bank account and this thing. Everything is working fine, but it may happen that if anything goes wrong, that is computer catch virus, then what to do. That's why testing computing is important. Computer are people breaking into electronically and changing the way they behave. So this field of trusted computing was developed. It is trying to think about how the design might be changed in such a way that we can't take place. Means any unauthorized user or any hacker should not access your bank account, should not access your Gmail. So what changes should be done, what things to be done, that is there in trusted computing. A safer internet is past. We were keeping important data on our computer or hard disk. Okay, we already keep your important data on the hard disk of the computer. Local network in building, that turned out to be not efficient, as having whole lot of computers somewhere else. We can share those servers. If people are asleep, a cloud can actually be very green approach to computing. But if I am processing someone private data, I need to protect my data, my processing, my resources from other users of same cloud resource sharing with competitors. Remember one thing, if I place the data in YouTube, if I place the data in YouTube and my YouTube is in my login ID, so it may happen that my login ID may be hacked, then my YouTube might be hacked. So it may happen. So you should take care that you should not, password should not be cracked, and your data should not be hacked, or it should not be changed. So that's why we need trusted computing for that, because it should not happen that someone will access your account, Gmail account or Yahoo account, and it will hack your data, your videos. So that care should be taken, and that is possible due to trusted computing. Sharing since we are sharing this data with your competitors. Now trusted computing is in the sense the total combination of protection mechanism with a computer system. Elements of trusted computing base enforce the security policy of the system and do not violate it. In the sense hardware, software and firmware. Hardware in the sense you have SSD hard disk, you have hard disk which is very fast, SSD hard disk is very fast. Software in the sense if you store programs on SSD hard disk, your program will run fast, your software will run fast. And firmware in the sense you are having a latest firmware, and which are very good, like you enter in the BIOS setup and this thing. And here in this circle we are trusted computing with hardware, software and firmware. Okay, and then hardware, software and firmware. Remember one thing, firmware in the sense, hardware in the sense you might be knowing that root data cannot be accessed from the others login, it should be accessed by the root login, that is part of software. Firmware in the sense you should not enter in the BIOS, your BIOS should have password, means your BIOS will be protected. And hardware in the sense Bluetooth and this thing, also it is the software only. And hardware in the sense you should access your hardware, not third party should access your hardware. It is total combination of protection mechanism within computer system. Elements of trusted computing base enforce security policy of system and do not validate it. Trusted computing base is a combination of hardware, software and firmware. Now here you are having the security parameter isolation or separation. The security parameter separate TCP and non-TCP object. Remember one thing, these are TCP object. Why it is a trusted computing base object in the LAN? Because here it is a firewall. Firewall will tell that which hardware need to access, which hardware needs to access, which software need to access, and which firmware needs to access. Remember one thing, firewall is I told you in previous module what is firewall. Firewall means it blocks some IP addresses and it allows some IP addresses, and that is managed by the firewall. We can say some prawn website are blocked by the IP address by the firewall, and some educational site are allowed by the firewall. Okay, and if one student is if students are regularly doing practical from 2 to 4, accessing internet from 2 to 4 for their project, and if the student are sitting 2 to 4 and they are not accessing lectures, project work, they are listening song, so firewall will not allow that, because firewall knows that in between 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. students are only engaged in the practicals, in the study of the project, so they are surfing from the educational point of view. But if the student are in between 2 to 4 p.m. are searching in case of movies and song, then it will not allow. So that is the power of trusted computing base, that is the power of firewall. And software means your we can say antivirus software. When you install it on the operating system, your operating system will not come across any virus, and your operating system will not will be damaged by any website or anything due to antivirus program. But one thing that you need to keep antivirus program up to date on the internet, at the internet point of view. Firmware, in the sense you are not allowed to access the firmware by setup, and it should have password, and that is done, everything is managed by the firewall. So firewall plays a very important role in trusted computing base. Trusted computing base, we have security parameter that separates from any other object in not of TCP. System protection, reference monitor access control concept, that is a reference to an abstract machine that mediate access to object in the sense files, folder, data, that these are object, and subject means user. Control mechanism between subject and object. Subject means any user and or any system. Object means files, folders, data, images, and just I told you firewall plays a very important role. Now here this is firewall, and here subject means user, malicious or it is a hacker, and who is trying to perform the operation on the object means these are called files. Just I told you object means these are files, and operations will read, write, allow or disallow. So this firewall will allow or disallow depending on the subject, depending on the user. So that's why firewall plays a very important role in the TCP, trusted computing base. And if subject is a hacker or something unknown malicious person, then it should be avoided. So that is avoided with the help of firewall. And here is the object means files, folders, data, which should not be accessed by unauthorized or hackers, Now here subject, security kernel, reference monitor, and object. Now here if subject is user, subject is the normal user, and here he is trying to access the object which is there in admin. In Windows it is called admin, in Linux it is called root. So user want to access the data from the root, but due to reference monitor security kernel it cannot access. If you want to access the data from the root, you should have username and password of the root. Unless and until you log in as a root, you cannot access the data from the object, and that is the role of the reference monitor. Suppose you want to access the data from computer, and you does not know the username and password of that computer, you should not be able to access the data from the computer. That job is done by the reference monitor, and that is called a security kernel. Means restriction should be there and data should be accessed in proper manner. It should not be accessed in improper manner. So that is all about the trusted computing base, reference monitor. And here we have seen that how firewall does this thing. So we have seen IO device management and TCP from the module 4 topic.